So, today we will be solving paper 1 core of February-March 2022. So, without further ado, let's solve the first questions. Write the number 16,037 in figures. That's pretty simple. You just have to write 16,037 in figures. Moving on, we have the second question, which says write down the 6 factors of 28. Now, we have 6 numbers that are suitable to be the factors of 28. Those are 1 times 28 gives you 28. So our 1 and 28 are the factors of 28. And we have also 2 and 14 because if we multiply both of them, we will get 28. And also similarly, we have 7 times 4, which will also give us 28. Hence, 7 and 4 is also the factors of 28. Question 3. Write 9,876 correct to the nearest thousands. That will simply give us 10,000. Question 4. The pictogram shows the number of different colored ear cars a garage sells in a month. And the question says, work out how many more white cars than red cars the garage sells. So, for the white cars, there is a key that they have given us. 4 boxes represent 12 cars. So if we break it down, if 4 boxes represent 12 cars, that means 1 box will represent 3, because 12 divided by 4 will give us 3. So let's see how many white cars that we have here. So we have here 4. 4 represents 12 cars, and another 4 which is also 12, and another 4, and then followed by another. So if we add them up, the total numbers of cars, of white cars we will get is 48. For the red cars, we have 4 boxes, which sums up to be 12 cars, and another 3 boxes. Since each box represents 3 cars, so that is 3 times 3 will give us 9. So simply 12 plus 9 to give us 21 of red cars. Now, to find out number of white cars that are more than of red cars, we just have to simply 48 minus 21. That would give us 27 of white cars. Question 5. Write down the reciprocal of 5/6. Reciprocal of a number is simply by taking the denominator, dividing it by the numerator of the number. So that is our answer, which is 6/5. Question 6. This is Ada's method to work out 99 times 27 without using a calculator. So she first did 99 times 27 is equal to 100 times 27 first. And then she subtracted 27 since the question is only 199. So that makes sense, and it will give us 2,700 minus 27, and that goes on to give us 2,673. Now the question says, show how to use Ada's method to work out 99 times 68 without using a calculator. So pretty much it is similar to the above method that she worked out, which is 100 times 68. But since we only required to do 99, we just minus off 68 again. So that will give us 6,800 minus 68, and the final answer is 6,732. Question 7a. Write 5.26 p.m. using the 24-hour clock. So to transform this 12-hour clock into 24-hour clock, we just have to add 12 to the 5, since it's talking about p.m. So 5 plus 12, it will give us 17. The minutes remain the same. So our 24-hour clock will be 17:26. 7b says a journey starts at 21:15 one day and ends at 4:33 the next day. The key word here is the next day. Calculate the time taken in hours and minutes. Since it talks about the next days, if we will have to add 24 hours onto it, because a day represents 24 hours. So 24 hours plus 4 hours 33 will give us 28 hours and 33 minutes. Now, to calculate the time taken, we just have to take 28:33 minus by 21:15, which is the study time. So the time that is in between is the time that was taken for the journey, which is 7 hours 18 minutes. 7C, change 10,260 seconds into hours. So we know 60 seconds represents 1 minute and 60 minutes represent 1 hour. So that means divided by 60 times with a 60. So that will go on and give us 2.85 hours. Question 8A, measure the marked angle. Here you just have to take out your protractor and measure the angle, and that will give you 40 degrees. Question 8B says, using a ruler and compasses only, construct this triangle, leaving your construction arcs and the side length of 12 has been drawn for you. Since 12 has been drawn for you, you just have to draw 9.5 and 8 centimeter with your protractor and leave the arc as shown on the drawing. Question 10. Work out root 5 times 6 square if your answer correct to 2 decimal places. Square root of 5 will go in and give us 2.2361 and more numbers, but in this case I only took 5 significant figure. Times with 36, that would go on and give us 80.4996. Now since the question wants us to specifically give our answer in 2 decimal places, then round it off, we will get 80.50 as our final answer. Question 11. Joe thinks of a positive number n. He squares n, then adds it to minus 24. The answer is 25. Work out the value n. So the first part of the question says that he thinks of a positive number which he squares it, so n squared, and then he adds negative 24 to it, so plus with negative 24, and then he says his final answer gives him 25. And now we only have to find our n value from this equation. So simply n squared minus 24 gives you 25, and move negative 24 to the other side, it will become positive. So n squared is equal to 25 plus 24, which is 49. Since it is a square and it says it is a positive integer, that means you just have to take square root of 49. That will give our final answer as n is equal to 7. Question 12. Indrani and Jagat share some money in the ratio Indrani to Jagat is equal to 7 to 9. Calculate the percentage of the money that Indrani receives. So to find the percentage of Indrani, we have to take a portion divided with the total portion, which is 7 plus 9, and multiply with 100. That will give our final answer as 43.75%. Question 13a. The equation of the line is y is equal to 5x plus 7. Write down the gradient of straight line. So our equation for a straight line is y is equal to mx plus c. Our m represents our gradient and c represents the y-intercept. Y-intercept is the point where the line cuts the y-axis. So since the first question wants our gradient and our m represents our gradient, below our m is our 5 in the equation that they have given. So 5 is our gradient. And now the second question, B1, find the coordinates of the point where this line crosses the y-axis. That is the other way to say find your c value. In this case, our c value is 7, and since we have to give in a coordinates form, our x-axis will be 0, whereas our y-axis will be c coordinate, which is 7. BII says find the coordinates of the point where this line crosses the x-axis. To find the coordinates where a point crosses the x-axis, is simply we have to substitute our y as 0. So 5x plus 7 is equal to 0. Now solving this equation will give our answer as x is negative 1.4. If x is negative 1.4, our y value was 0. Question 14. On the grid, draw the image of triangle A after a reflection in the y-axis. Reflection in the y-axis means we have to imagine our y-axis is the mirror. If today the questions were to tell us to reflect it in the x-axis, then we will have taken our x-axis to be our mirror. Now, to reflect triangle A in the y-axis, let's see how many times we have to move to y-axis. So let's take a point from A. Then move 1, 2, 3. That means we also need to move 3 times left side of the mirror again. 1, 2, 3 is here. Now take another point which is 1 here, and then that means we need to move another one here. And this point 1, 2, 3, 4. So move another 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now since we already got 3 crosses here, we just have to match it up to get the image of A. Now the question B, triangle A after a translation by the vector of -3, -4. Remember the vector x and y, where x represents the movement of right and left, and y represents the movement of up and down. If today our x was negative, then it would have moved negative to the left. If our x is positive, it would move to the right. Similarly to the y, if it is positive, it moves upwards, and if it is negative, then it would move downwards. Since the vectors are both negative, then I know that my triangle will move left side by 3 times and downwards by 4 times. So here, take this point for example, move 3 times left hand side, which is 1, 2, 3, and then 4 times by downwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And do the same things for other points, and you just have to match the line up. Question 15. Write 0.0001 as a power of 10. This is basically writing your answers in standard form. So to write this number in a standard form, we have to simply write it 1.0 times 10 to the power of -4. Since the question wants only in 10 to the power, so we just write 10 to the power of -4 as the final answer. Question 16. As the temperature increases, people eat more ice cream. What type of correlations does this statement describe? Since as temperature increases, the number of ice creams also increases, so we know that this is a positive correlation. Question 17. Sanjay invests $700 in an account paying simple interest at the rate of 2.5% per year. Calculate the value of his investment at the end of 6 years. So the formula for simple interest goes by principal times rate multiplied by time divided with 100. Principal is the money that Sanjay has invested, in this case which is $700, and rate is the interest rate, which is 2.5%, and the time is the investment. How long did Sanjay invest, which is 6 years in this case. So simply plug in your values. 700 times 2.5 times 6 divided by 100 would give you 105. But remember, this is not his final amount yet. This is just the simple interest that he would get, the money that you get from his interest. Now to find the amount, we have to take his money that he has gotten from his interest plus the principal. Principal is the money that he has invested, which is 700 in this case. So 700 plus 105 would give our final answer as $805. Question 18. These are the first 4 terms of a sequence. 1, 23, 45, and 67. Write down the next 2 terms. So here I noticed that every term is actually an addition of 22. So to find the next 2 terms, we just have to take 67 plus 22, and then the answer that we gotten, which is 89 plus another 22 to get the next term. Now to find the nth term, however, since I noticed this is only the differences of 22, it is therefore is an arithmetic equation. Formula of arithmetic equations goes by a plus n minus 1 and d, which stands for common difference. A represents the first value, which is 1 here, and D represents the common difference, which is in this case 22. So plugging in your values accordingly and solving it would give our final answer as 22 and minus 21. Question 19. Simplify 5f plus 7g minus 8f plus 2g. So in this kind of questions, I always prefer to bring the same common unknowns together. So 5f minus 8f plus 7g plus 2g. Now you can just minus them off, and I will get my final answer as 9g minus 3f. 19b, h squared times with h to the power of 5. Since our base are same and the relationship between these two are multiplied, we just have to take the power and plus them up. So that will give our final answer as h to the power of 7. 19c says simplify square root of 16x squared times 5y to the power of 0. So square root of 16 is actually 4, while square root of x squared is actually x, because square and square root will cut off each other. And times with 5y to the power of 0. Any numbers that is power to the 0 is always 1. Let's say whether it is 2 to the power of 0 or 29 to the power of 0 or 100 to the power of 0, all these numbers will give you 1. So here I know y to the power of 0 will give me 1 as well. So that's why 5 times 1 is still 5. So 4x times 5 will give you 20x as our final answer. Question 20. Balavan has n marbles. He gives his sister n over 5 marbles. He gives his cousins n over 2 marbles. Write an expression in terms of n for the number of marbles that Balavan has now. Give your answer in its simplest form. So simply write down your equations. So his total number of marbles was n, and he has given his sister n over 5, so minus it off, and he gave another n over 2 of his marbles to his cousins, so minus that as well. Now what I prefer to do is here make the two unknowns that has the denominator same denominator first. So to make these two numbers same denominator, we have to multiply by 2 for n over 5 and multiply with 5 for n over 2. That will go and give us 2n over 10 and 5n over 10 respectively. Since now we already have 10 as the common denominator for the both two numbers, we can simply multiply this 10 for the whole number, which is n. So we will have 10n over 10 minus 2n over 10 minus 5n over 10. Since the denominators are same, just multiply, just minus the numerator will do. So 10n minus 2n is 8n. 8n minus 5n will give you 3n over 10. Or you can write it as 3 over 10 multiplied by n as your final answer. Question 21. Use set notation to describe the shaded region. The shaded part here is actually A intersect B. That is our final answer. Find number of C. Number of element of C. That is how many numbers of elements we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer is 5. Question 22. Without using a calculator, work out 2 1 over 3 times 11 over 14. You must show all your working and give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. So to solve these questions, we have 2 1 over 3 times 11 over 14. First, we need to convert this mixed fraction into an improper fraction. So to do that, we have to do 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1, which is 7 over 3, and then times 11 over 14. We can simplify 7 and 14 here. 7 times 1 is 7, cut with 7 times 2, which is 14. So we will have 1 over 3 and 11 over 2. Multiply them together, we have 1 times 11 gives us 11. 3 times 2 gives us 6, which is 11 over 6. However, the question wants the answer in mixed number. So to convert this in mixed number, we have to divide 11 by 6. 6 times 1 is 6, so 11 minus 6 gives us 5. So the next number will be 1 or 5 over 6. That's our final answer. Question 23a. Expand and simplify x plus 3 and x minus 5. So do one by one. For instance, take your x times with the x, that gives you x squared. X times with minus 5, which is minus 5x. 3 times with x, which is plus 3x, and 3 times with minus 5, that gives you minus 15. So simplify this will give you x squared minus 2x minus 15, and that's our final answer. Question 23b. When class teachers asks her to factorize completely 8x squared minus 12x, Renuka writes 2x open bracket 4x minus 6 close bracket as the answer. Explain why she doesn't score full marks and give the correct answer. Why Renuka didn't score her full mark is because 4 and 6 in her answer can still be factorized. So that is not a complete factorization yet. The correct answer would be 4x open bracket 2x minus 3 close bracket. Our last question for today is, Udita thinks of two whole numbers. Both numbers are greater than 6. The lowest common multiple, which is LCM, of the two numbers is 90. The highest common factor, which is HCF, of the two numbers is 6. One of the important things to understand here is HCF is always the multiple of two numbers that they are talking about. The key to solve this question is to take the LCM that they have given, which is in this case 90, and find the LCM of this 90 that will give us 3, 3, 2, and 5 respectively. And since our HCF is the multiple of those two numbers and our HCF is 6, we can say that our 3 times 2, which gives us 6, is actually our HCF. And the remaining number, which is 3 and 5, we just have to multiply our HCF by these two numbers in order to get the two unknown values. So 6 times 3 is 18. So one of the unknown number is 18, and another one is 6 times 5, which is 30. So our unknown numbers that this question is talking about are 18 and 30. So that's pretty much it for this paper. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in next video.